how and when to use a grunt call. In this video, I'm going to talk about how and when to use a grunt call. These are some of the most common questions I get from new hunters. This is just a basic grunt call, bought off Amazon. In fact, I'll provide a link in the description, affiliate link. It has a sliding piece here so you can change the pitch. So here's like the lowest, that's a grunt. Now it says buck, doe, fawn. You basically really ignore that. Here's what it says for a doe, and then here's a fawn. Realistically, in the wild, almost every deer, when it grunts, sounds like this. You could hear that in the bushes, and a doe can pop out, or a great big 10-pointer, because they pretty much all sound the same. Here's the key, and I'm going to give you some live footage here from this year of 2 hunts I was on where I called in a buck using a grunt call. This first bit of footage is a buck in the morning. It's around 8 o'clock in the morning. When you're going to call in the morning, do not call before daylight. If you call before daylight, the deer will circle downwind of you, and they will find out that they're going to smell you, and they will find out that you're there, and they will leave, sometimes without you even knowing it. Other times they'll let you know they were there because they're going to start snorting. That's their alarm call that lets other deer know there's danger in the area and they need to leave. Now this particular buck, obviously I could have shot him, but he is not what I'm looking for. I was actually looking for a doe on this hunt. But the interesting thing is he had some kind of a weird growth on the side of his mouth. I don't know if it was due to an injury or if it's just some form of a tumor. I have no idea. So that was a morning hunt. Key thing for morning hunt is wait till daylight so that you actually have an opportunity to shoot if a deer comes in. If you can ever come up with a situation where a deer cannot circle downwind of you, play that to your advantage and go ahead and use the grunt call. I've been hunting for over 30 years, and when I first started out and bought my first grunt call, I read the instructions on the back. It said to grunt 3 times about every 15 minutes. Don't do that. There are some scenarios where I'll do a 3 grunt series, but almost never. What you want to do is grunt 1 time, like this. Then wait at least a bare minimum of 3 minutes. Hey, I'm doing the editing and I want to clarify something. I'm referring to blind calling. You don't see any deer anywhere in your area, and so you're calling to try to bring some in. So these techniques that I'm talking about right now are when you're blind calling. You don't see any deer, you're trying to attract something. Let's get back to the footage as I previously recorded it. What you want to do is grunt 1 time, like this. Then wait at least a bare minimum of 3 minutes. The reason why is because if there's a deer in your area and you grunt 1 time, if it's interested, it's going to pick its head up and try to pinpoint where you're at. Now, if you follow that grunt with another one and another one, that deer now knows exactly where you are at. It will hone in on you. It's either going to circle downwind, maybe you don't know what direction it's coming from, and it may spot you. You may go start to grunt again, and it's going to look up at you if you're in a tree stand or in a ground blind. I was hunting public land, and at the start of the hunt, at 5 o'clock, this nice 8-pointer came out, and I didn't get footage of him making a scrape, but later on, after I turned off the camera, I saw him, tending to a scrape. So at 5 o'clock, it's October the 10th, he's just a little bit getting excited for the upcoming rut. So he got up and freshened up a scrape before the evening feeding session. Now, if I wanted to call to this buck, I would have done this and watched his response. If he picked his head up and looked, I'm not calling again. If he ends up walking away, I'll give him 1 more grunt and just see if I can entice him to come in. But as I said, I didn't want to take this deer. In fact, if you follow my videos, I just passed on a 14-pointer the other day because, the buck is young and has an incredible potential on my own property. So make sure you follow my videos But this is a public land hunt, so my standards are a little lower, but still a little higher than this. I live in Iowa right now, and so I know that the potential for a bigger buck is nearby. With about, I'd say, 15 minutes left of shooting light, I got the grunt call back out because there was no deer in my area. And I did blind calling. So what I did is I started off with one single grunt. Now, again, if I got the interest of any deer, I don't want that deer to pinpoint me, so I waited about 5 minutes. And I did not see any deer yet after 5 minutes, so I gave it one more. And I still had about 10 minutes of shooting light. I happened to catch sight of a buck about 40 yards away coming on an access trail toward the downwind side of me. So what happened was a buck heard the grunt, either the first or the second, and he was coming toward the downwind side of the area he heard it because he's trying to scent check where he heard it. Now watch what happens when this buck gets directly downwind of me. The deer never snorted, never made hardly any noise at all. If I was sitting there and never looked behind me and never picked up on that deer, I may have never even known it was there. It would have run off without me even knowing it. There are so many newbie hunters who have that happen to them. So when you're calling, if you're in a situation where deer can easily get downwind of you, like in this situation, you want to periodically be checking the downwind side because that's where your deer may be, especially a buck. They like to circle downwind to scent check who's grunting. If it was a buck I wanted to shoot, I could have got a broadside shot when he was coming behind me. I had time to get that shot if I wanted it before he got straight downwind of me. So I could have successfully harvested that deer. If you're new at hunting and you get bored, just pick up a copy of my book. Look at how thick this is. I have put into this book pretty much everything you would need to know to become a successful hunter. I've got plenty of deer back here, plenty of racks, plenty of experience, and a lot of these deer I called in using the grunt call. So I encourage you to use these methods and learn more, then pick up a copy of my book. I'll put a link for it in the description section of this, along with an affiliate link for this grunt call. I like the grunt call. It's been working out for me. It was not very expensive. If you ever want to switch to a bleat, you can, but I typically leave it on the grunt call. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, I'm doing a giveaway every month of hunting season. So this year, I got one sitting here. I'm giving away a snack time feeder. You hook it on the bottom of a bait barrel. When a deer bumps this, it lets out food, so it's not just dumping food at all different times of the day, and like raccoons or something else are eating it. So I'll put a link to the giveaways page of my website. I'm also giving away an 03 Outfitters ground effect hunting seat. So those of you who hunt on the ground, this is a really solid, sturdy seat that straps to a tree. And every month of hunting season this year, I'm giving away 5 Dragon X8 compound bows each month. So get on the giveaways page of my website and sign up for my newsletter there. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel and get in on it. I hope this has helped. Check out a copy of my book. Until next time, take care. May the good Lord bless you.